Good morning on the Western Hemisphere and good evening in the East. This is Patrick Mack with In Pursuit of Truth. No new Q post tonight, but I do want to give you a quick update on the U.S. Bangla crash. This is from the Dhaka Tribune. This is a list of the casualties of Flight BS-211. Now, we don't know too much about these names quite yet. We have the survivors here, the deceased here, up to about 40, and unconfirmed. Now, I just want to turn you on to something real quick that I noticed. I wanted to start researching the names of these casualties here, particularly the unconfirmed are the ones that I'm most curious about. And immediately, the name Zhang Ming popped out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know Zhang Ming. I don't know that this is the Zhang Ming that I'm thinking of. It could be any Zhang Ming, and it is a fairly common name in China. It could be anyone. We don't know who this is. However, the name popped out, and this was the man I was thinking of. Ambassador Zhang wishes from Brussels great success and prosperity for the China-EU relations in the year of the dog. Unrelated article, but it's from February 16, 2018. The latest I can kind of find from him is late February, and maybe there was one article in the very first week of March. Other than that, this is a man who makes the news quite a bit, and haven't heard from him since. Now, it hasn't been a long time. I'm not saying it's him. I'm not reporting it. Please do not turn around and report this. Just saying, I started my research on this. It was literally the first name that I went with, was the single Chinese fatality on this plane crash. Now, we don't have enough information on this. This thing stinks. We have we have reports that people are saying it sounded like a bomb. I don't know. This thing stinks. The ignoring of the warning. We're not going to stay on this story. I want to move on. But I just want to touch up on that. There will be more to come on this. However, tonight, we are talking about this guy. Right here. Handsome fella. Running for House of Representatives, 2018, Democrat out of California. His name is Ammar Campa Najjar. We're going to hop around a bit on him. Starting you off here on medium.com, where he says, "That's why I love this country. Only in America can the son of a Hispanic woman from the barrio and an Arab man from an occupied territory have the freedom to reimagine his life and pursue his dreams." Well, handsome guy with a story. Let's find out his story. Ammar Campa Najjar is a political activist and Democratic candidate for the United States House of Representatives in the 2018 election to represent California's 50th Congressional District. Campa Najjar was born in La Mesa, California, son of Yasser Najjar. Remember this name, Yasser Najjar, and Abigail Campa. In 1998, his family left San Diego and he attended Catholic school in the Gaza Strip. Upon his family's return to San Diego in 2001, he attended Islamic School of San Diego for elementary school, East Lake High School, and community college at Southwestern College. He graduated from San Diego State University, where he earned dual bachelor's degree in philosophy and psychology. Not bad for a kid from the barrio. Well, it says here in 98, when he left San Diego for the Gaza Strip, to 2001. Gaza Strip was at the time under Palestinian Authority. And in 2000 is when the second intifada broke out, okay? Here it says, we're on Wikipedia. The second intifada broke out in September 2000 with waves of protests, civil unrest, and bombings against military and civilians, many of them perpetuated by suicide bombers. The second intifada also marked the beginning of rocket attacks and bombings of Israeli border localities by Palestinian guerrillas from Gaza Strip, especially by the Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad movements. Okay, rough times over there. Now, we're not going to talk a lot about this topic necessarily. I want to stay on with this guy. Moving on over to the Times of Israel. Not going to read the whole article. We're going to read some of it. Congressional candidate distances himself from Munich terrorist grandfather. Well, wait a minute. Terrorist grandfather. Ammar Campa Najjar hopes heartbreaking heritage won't be politicized, urges Israelis and Palestinians to put the dark past behind him. The grandson of the Palestinian terrorist who helped mastermind the Munich massacre of Israeli athletes has publicly distanced himself from his family's violent past as he gears up for the final months of campaigning for his bid for Congress in California. Not going to read all of it, just going to skip around a little bit here. But here we go. The 28-year-old San Diego native, is the grandson of Muhammad Youssef al-Najjar, a senior member of the Palestinian terrorist group Black September that murdered 11 Israeli athletes at the 1972 Munich Olympics. Interesting. That's not on this Wikipedia. It's not on the Wikipedia. It's not on the Wikipedia. All right. In an interview with Israel's Haaretz Daily this week, Campa Najjar rejected his grandfather's actions as horrific, saying there was never justification for killing innocent civilians. As an American citizen living in the 21st century, I will never be able to understand or condone the actions and motivations of my grandfather, he told the paper. Now, Najjar was assassinated in Beirut by an Israeli commando force in 1973 in retaliation for the attack. Now, we're not going to talk about this whole thing. Just remember that his grandfather, who committed the attack, was assassinated in retaliation for the attack. But Campa Najjar goes on kind of in this article. You know, he's trying to distance himself from that. I think time. I don't know this guy, but let's just go through history and think about all the families who, you know, have changed ideologies. I don't know any. I know lots of families that have stuck with their ideologies, but not too many that have changed. But perhaps it's different here. In fact, in the profile of Campa Najjar, Haaretz noted the Democratic candidate has been praised for his approach to Israel by Jewish leaders from the San Diego area. As a matter of fact, Rabbi Devorah Marcus told the paper that Campa Najjar had a generous spirit and open heart, while Rabbi Nadav Cain praised him for rejecting pressure to avenge his grandfather's death, instead choosing to restore family honor by forging paths of peace. Interesting indeed. Well, let me just turn you on to Rabbi Devorah Marcus real quick. This is from the Times of San Diego. Title says, "ICE at your door? Rapid Response Network vows to send help, sacred and holy work." With a local rabbi calling their efforts sacred and holy work, local church and rights groups are vowing to monitor immigration enforcement while defending people with the new initiative. Quote here, "People tonight who are living in fear of persecution or deportation are no different than Abraham and Sarah, who were homeless wanderers, constantly seeking safety and shelter," says Rabbi Devorah Marcus of Temple Emmanuel in Del Cerro. All right, let's stay on homeboy here. This is from the Washington Post, and this is really, really important here. I'm going to try and cruise through this. There's a lot to soak here. I really would encourage you to read this, but we're going to start about halfway down here. "I spent my early years," this is Ammar Campa speaking to the Washington Post. "I spent my early years with my family under siege by American-made helicopters and F-16s that leveled entire buildings on the blocks where we lived. And then, just as surreally, I spent the second part of my life working for the U.S. government, entrusted with serving the American public." He was sending those cute little stories to Obama, right? We're choosing the ones to read. "It's not the perfect love story, but I know what I've witnessed in my life is nothing short of an American miracle." It is really a miracle. It really is a miracle, isn't it? Now, told you to remember this name, Yasser Najjar. "My father, Yasser Najjar, saw both his parents gunned down right in front of him when he was only 11 years old. Orphaned and outlawed, my father moved across Egypt, Lebanon, and Morocco in search of a new home. On his 18th birthday, he found himself at a critical crossroads, continue seeking refuge across the Middle East or move westward to America." Skipping down here, he mentions his mother, Abigail Campa. Not going to read that part right here. Skipping to here, "I'll never forget watching my mother weep when I was 9 years old. My abuelita flew from San Diego all the way to Tel Aviv to visit, only to be turned away. The Second Intifada, a brutal war between Israel and the Palestinian people, broke out the hour she landed. Nobody could enter and nobody could leave. My mom's source of comfort was so close yet so far." Interesting story. Very interesting story. "I vowed to never show weakness or let her see me cry. So I didn't cry when we said goodbye to our family in San Diego to live in the Palestinian territories for a few years. I didn't cry when I watched a boy my age, Muhammad al-Dura, get shot and killed while hiding behind a barrel. I didn't cry the night they cut off the electricity to all of Gaza City. And I, my mom, stepmom, dad, and younger brothers hid in the dark corner of a cold kitchen floor as they carpet bombed our neighborhood. I didn't cry when we had to leave Baba behind and finally return to the United States in August 2001. one. I didn't cry when war clung to our lives like a disease and followed us to America. I didn't cry that September when 19 terrorist hijackers committed mass murder at the World Trade Center. I didn't cry that week when the Islamic school I attended was vandalized and declared unsafe to study or pray in. Ladies and gentlemen, this cat's got some baggage. All right? Grandfather killing people. Father watched him get killed because he was killing people. And now this guy's working to get a spot in the House of Representatives on a major border town. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Taking you over to Triton News. San Diego State run. This is a student run. Congressional candidate Ammar Campa Najjar. Admin, not professors, should deal with white supremacist threats. Not going to read this whole article. Just want to touch on this. If elected, Campa Najjar said that he'd be most interested in serving on the White House committees on foreign relations. Interesting indeed. Well, hopefully there's not an ambassadorship in China open. Ladies and gentlemen, this story stinks. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I would love to hear what you have to say. If you have any news on the Bangladesh crash, please let me know. That'd be great. I'm trying to get to all your comments. Some of them are coming through as spam, so forgive me if some of them don't get through. My apologies. I'm not trying to ignore anyone or anything. I love your comments. Thank you so much for a lot of the great insight you guys have shared. This is Patrick Mack. As always, if you like this video, please click like, subscribe, share this with a friend, share the message. Really, really would help me out, and of course, it's going to help us all out. This is Sir Patrick Mack. Stay free, stay vigilant,